Welcome back to the West Ham fans Premier League Roundup, where as a West Ham fan I talk about all the other teams uh, from the Premier League um, because of what's happened over the past week and especially this weekend. Um, excuse me, there will not be a West Ham fans Premier League Roundup next week because we are on the shitty international break. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. I am on the road to 200 subscribers. So I would really appreciate it if you got me there as quick as possible. But let's get into it. Let's get like who should we talk about first? We'll go Arsenal, Man United. Arsenal, Man United. We have to talk about them first because that fixture never disappoints. It never disappoints. Obviously, Arsenal won 3-1, and one of the games of the season, of course, because a lot of things happened. Now, I expected Arsenal to batter Man United, and 3-1 I thought would be kind of the score, but not in that fashion. I thought Arsenal would play them off the park, especially. I don't think Man United started off that well. I think they couldn't get out of their own half and they're just trying to counter them. I know Ten Hag wants the best transition team in the league or something like that. He said something like that. But here's the thing. There's only so much you could do on transition. Obviously, people like Martial, not a bad player, but he's still starting. Uh, and a lot of these players are not good on the ball. But I watched, I was out all day Saturday, but I recorded the Sheffield United Everton game when I got back. And when I watch Everton and when I watch Manchester United, I feel like I'm watching the same team. And hear me out. Because they start out by playing out from the back, from the goalkeeper to centre back. And then all of a sudden, long ball, and it goes nowhere. The teams are, by design, not by design, but naturally, they're just set out to be a mix of styles, and nothing's really like being cohesive. And you at Manchester United, for example, you got Onana, very good on the ball, had a decent game up until the Declan Rice goal. He's saving stuff with his knees and stuff, and he's good on the ball. He then gives the ball to Alessandro Martinez, who's also very good on the ball. Had probably his best game this season. Didn't have a bad game at all, but got taken off injured. But then and then you got Ericsson, who's good on the ball, and Casemiro, who's good under pressure. Not the greatest of passes, but he can still play out from the back a bit. But if it goes to, it's not even the ball's not even making Bruno Fernandes. Lindelof is not that good. He's just not that good. He can fill in for a game or two, but he's not that good. He's not that good physically. He can ping a ball, but ultimately, you don't want him to play against the likes of Arsenal. Even if it's only in Nketiah, you still don't want him to play these kind of games. And Aaron Wan-Bissaka, I thought he played very well. I thought he was actually probably Man United's best player. But he's not a guy who's good on the ball. And Dalot's already, unless he's playing like inverted, he's gonna receive the ball on his right foot on the left hand side all the time, meaning he's gonna cut in a lot. And it kind of fucked it up. And they were just trying to long ball it to Martial and Rashford, but it wasn't even like an accurate long ball. It was like in between both of them. And we move on, and then I think it was Man United's first shot when Rashford scored. And then I feel like every goal that you saw, you knew that it was going to go in. So I knew as soon as Rashford stepped in, it was going in. I knew as soon as it fell to Odegaard, it was going in. As soon as Declan Rice had that much space to shoot, it was going in. As soon as Jesus was through, it was going in. And I think everyone at home would agree that they knew it was going in. Because Man United went asleep. And they say that the most like vulnerable you can be when trying to defend is when you've just scored. And how many times have we seen Odegaard on the edge of the box in that kind of space score for Arsenal, especially for the past 2 years, past 18 months, etc. Maybe just past 12 months because he's actually shooting more. And he's got a great shot on him. And Odegaard used to be the guy who just never used to shoot. He just, even when he had in a shooting opportunity, he would like square it to someone else, which was stupid because the guy can shoot. He could get up to 15 goals a season if Arsenal are at their best. That's just my opinion. I'm not saying he needs to aim for that, but he does need to carry on the way he's carried on when it comes to shooting, because I think he's improving on that. And ultimately, I don't think Man United were actually bad in this game, but the subs of Maguire and Evans, I don't think Maguire did anything wrong. I want to preface this. I don't think Maguire did anything wrong. But I think because you've got a whole new centre-back partnership on a pitch, him and Johnny Evans, you would have thought it was Brendan Rodgers' Leicester. I don't think Johnny Evans made a couple good standing tackles, but as soon as Johnny Evans came on, he got spun by Jesus, and it's like it's 2023, and I don't know what Man United are doing. And I think the referee is shit in general, Anthony Taylor, but I think he got both decisions correct. In terms of the offside for Man United and the penalty for Arsenal, because it wasn't a penalty and it wasn't a goal. And that brings me on to Ten Hag. Ten Hag knows that he's under pressure. So he's drawn for the excuses, saying they've got the wrong angle. They've chosen the wrong angle. I was watching it at the Sky Sports thing. I turned it off. As soon as I heard that, I turned it off. Because I'm not trying to hear that. Your players should have closed down. Like, Eriksen is in that position to close down Odegaard. He's not defensively aware. And you should know this by now. So that's why Odegaard scored his first goal. The second goal, Declan Rice has the space of the whole of the Emirates. Someone should close him down from the corner. It deflects, it goes in. And the third goal, do I really need to speak about the fucking defending for the third goal? This is all your own doing. This is your fault. I think Arsenal and Man United, maybe it should have been a 1-1 draw if you're looking of how both teams kind of played. But ultimately, Arsenal are just better than Man United. They just have better attackers. It's simple. And this also brings me on to the two best players that I thought were the two best players on the pitch was Declan Rice and Aaron Wan-Bissaka, where I don't know why people are saying Martinelli had a good. I don't think he had a good game. I thought Wan-Bissaka dealt with them very well. Like, I thought he made Martinelli look one-dimensional because he kept fucking trying to cross the ball in, and it felt like Arsenal were just trying to cross the ball in all the time. And that's what it felt like. It felt like good football, and then they were just trying to cross the ball in all the time. And they don't have a target man. It's not Ivan Toney up front. Nketiah's not 6'4". They weren't giving the ball to Nketiah, ball to feet enough, in my opinion, and they weren't drawing people in. But I also don't think it helps when you have a guy like Kai Havertz in the team, and Declan Rice, Partey, Odegaard. I know Partey's injured, but that should be the midfield. And maybe they could have played Jorginho instead of Havertz. That's just my opinion. Maybe that would have changed the dynamics of where everyone's positioned, etc. But at the same time, I think Kai Havertz is a hindrance and cannot play left centre midfield. He actually missed the whole fucking ball for one of his shots, and then Lisandro Martinez dealt with the rest of the play very well in the end by blocking Nketiah, or taking the ball away from Nketiah. But Havertz missed the whole fucking ball. And he doesn't offer you anything defensively or physically, and he doesn't offer you anything going forward. He might get into the right positions into the box, but he's just not good enough. He doesn't really run at people. He doesn't really pass. He doesn't really shoot. He doesn't really link up unless it's someone like João Felix. I don't really see... No, I've never seen it at Chelsea. I'm not going to see it at Arsenal. And I think maybe Arteta persisting with this guy may be the difference for where Arsenal want to be. But we will see. Arsenal haven't been outstanding, but you managed to get the points over the line, which is the most important thing. And Declan Rice was amazing on the day. Declan Rice was man of the match by far. And obviously, as a West Ham fan, it didn't surprise me that he settled in so well because I've seen him for years. I've seen him adapt to situations quite quickly. He's good at taking instructions as well, and it doesn't surprise me. So when he scored the goal, it was like, that's a Declan Rice moment. Like, I'm not surprised. But there's two stories that are kind of related to Man United. First of all, if you're in a stadium and you see pundits, do not allegedly headbutt one. Because that's what allegedly happened. Apparently someone tried to headbutt Roy Keane, Roy Keane and Michael Richards. Well, Michael Richards held the guy up against the wall from what the clip was. So, and Roy Keane was just there. Imagine trying to start a fight with two pundits, yeah? You do not want Roy Keane and Michael Richards to be two of them. Like, what goes into your head to think that you can take on Roy Keane and Michael Richards? Like, let's be honest. Let's be serious. It's like two bouncers coming to fuck you up. And you know you must do something wrong when you piss off Michael Richards. The guy doesn't get pissed off that much. And, yeah, I wouldn't piss off Michael Richards. So. Another story is that I didn't even notice, because I was like, bring Sancho on. Jadon Sancho wasn't even in the squad. And apparently it was because of training. But also, Ten Hag has come... well, that's what Ten Hag said. It was about training and standards of Man United. And Jadon Sancho came up with a statement talking about don't read everything you see in the media, and he's been made a scapegoat. So that it looks like Jadon Sancho will probably leave Manchester United unless Ten Hag gets sacked. In my opinion, I have a feeling, from what I'm seeing, I feel like Ten Hag and Sancho will both leave. Well, I think Ten Hag will get sacked, and I think Sancho will leave Man United. I think Sancho has to leave Man United because he's got a career to revive, and I think he can revive his career. And I think he can do it in the Premier League. But it has to be in a possession-based side where you can combine with players. Not just, this transition ball that Ten Hag's trying to play. But we're going to move on. We've talked 12 minutes about one game. And Damari Gray was another man who put the statement out saying, Everton fans have always been good with me, but I can't play for someone that's never respected me as a person. Something like that. I'm paraphrasing. And Sheffield United, Everton bought bare left wingers. They got Danjuma, McNeil, Harrison, and obviously they sold Alex Iwobi, and Damari Gray is still there after a move to Saudi Arabia didn't get put through. And Sheffield United Everton was actually quite an end-to-end game. It was actually better than I thought it would be because I wasn't actually watching it live. I watched it when I came back home. And Cameron Archer taking the Premier League by storm. But we're going to see what happens with this Damari Gray thing because the Saudi Arabian transfer window still happens for like a week. So we'll see what happens there. But yeah, that's just interesting between Dyche and Damari Gray. I wonder what's happened there. But playing James Garner at right wing is not it. I watched them against Doncaster as well. Playing James Garner at right wing is not it. But this Beto guy that they've signed from Everton, I'm actually kind of jealous that we didn't get him as a backup striker for West Ham because he looks like he would have suited our system as well. And this guy's a beast. They finally have a striker to come in when Calvert-Lewin is not there. And they can take all the burden off him. Everton haven't won a game yet, but they finally scored 2 goals and finally got a point. And Sheffield United finally got a point. They are both 1 draw and 3 losses, 1 point each. And they're going to both be down there. I thought Everton might be a little bit more stable this year because of Sean Dyche, but it's not looking good. Man City battered Fulham. It was a bit controversial whether that was a penalty or not, in my opinion. I'm not sure it was a complete penalty. But even Erling Haaland said one of these goals should have been disallowed, where I think it was a Kanji that was diverting away in front of the keeper. Like, a Kanji's foot goes up to like distract the keeper when he's literally offside. And Man City were going to beat Fulham anyway, but the point is that decision shouldn't have been given. And it's another bad decision from the referee. Can we go 1 week without a bad decision, please. Can we go 1 week? Please. No bad decisions. I think some fans in the Premier League probably are happy that it's 2 weeks break because of um, the amount of shit refereeing that's going on. If we're looking at Fulham, Fulham have lost 2 games. They've lost to Brentford at home and Man City away. Man City away, you can understand, and Brentford, you should probably turn up for that because it's a derby. Who did they win against? I don't fucking remember. Oh yeah, Everton. They just scraped over Everton, and they look like a shell of themselves without Mitrovic. So we'll see how Raul Jimenez does. I said he kind of suited. I wasn't even one of the people that said he suited this system, but he's probably not going to give you what you want. But the signing of Alex Iwobi is interesting because Alex Iwobi played under Marco Silva before. Man City, they usually start off really shit. They've started off well, so I can't see them dipping from here. Will we get another 100 points from Manchester City? I don't think we will. Will we get invincibles from Man City? Probably not, because their bogey team is Tottenham away, and they don't score at Tottenham away. And the way Tottenham are playing right now, they probably might not still score at Tottenham away, even though they're more open now. Let's go on to Tottenham. Burnley-Tottenham was the game of the day on Sky. I had that recorded, so I watched it. Burnley are in trouble because every time these men go to a 5 at half-time, they just concede even more. They started off instantly off the blocks very well. They're kind of just shifting people around. There's too many players that they've signed, and they're just putting it all together. Then again, you want clubs to be ambitious and spend money and stuff, but it's going to take a long time to gel for a side that wants to stay up in the Premier League, and maybe they won't finish as high as much as I would have thought, as much as other people would have thought. And what a surprise! Heung-min Son scores a hat-trick up front after benching the pigeon that is Richarlison. Maddison, obviously the heart and soul of Tottenham, and doesn't surprise me. He's probably one of the signings of the season, especially for the price. I don't know why more teams didn't go in for him, because James Maddison's literally sensational. He is sensational. He's both feet, creative, long shots. Can throughout every phase of the whole fucking pitch, this guy is there. He is there. And it doesn't surprise me that a team with Maddison and Basuma in their midfield is doing this well. Like, these were 2 players that everyone wanted and Tottenham got. So fair play to them for getting them. There's still questions to be asked whether Kulusevski can play the system, but with Solomon on the left and Son up front, they look much better than when they had Richarlison up front. You can argue, yes, it's Burnley and they're playing so high up, etc., but you got to score them still. Pape Matar Sarr has come into his own after being mistreated by Conte, in my opinion. The guy is young, and you don't want Conte and Stellini, treating your young players, really. Christian Romero looks very good alongside Mickey van der Ven. Mickey van der Ven's one of them. He reminds me of one of them kids in school that I'm shit at football. So when I could try and go past someone in football and they're stronger than me and they just get their hand like this, I can't go past them. I'm going to try and go past them and they're just using their strength. They're just weights in me. And I was a skinny guy in school. I'm still quite skinny, but I'm still a skinny guy in school. And he just reminds me of one of the big kids that just quickly move you out of the way. That's what Mickey van der Ven is, pretty much. And credit to Pedro Porro, because he's not a great defender, but he suits the system going inverted and stuff. Him and Udogie are used to be more wing-backs, but they're going into midfield position-wise, and they're doing very well for them. And Vicario has done well since he's started at Tottenham. I don't know what's happening with Burnley. I feel like Vincent Kompany is a very good manager, but he's making some tactical tweaks that I don't really understand. But maybe we'll see a better Burnley after the international break. Now let's talk about the result that I've been waiting to talk about. Chelsea 0, Nottingham Forest 1. Chelsea. Money can't buy happiness. Money can't buy 3 points. Maybe it can against Luton, but a draw with Liverpool, a loss against the mighty Hammers, and a loss against Nottingham Forest at home. Looks like you ain't making Stamford Bridge your fortress this season. Anthony Elanga coming on as a fucking super sub again. That guy has started the season like a house on fire, as they say. I don't even know what the fuck that saying means, but I'm going to say it anyway. When Nottingham Forest go back to their 3 at the back and they just let their wing-backs go, that's when they're best, especially with Steve Cooper. They're going to attack on a break with pace. Like, imagine Awoni, Morgan Gibbs-White, and Elanga coming at you with this much pace. It's crazy. On the break. And Pochettino, bro. Stop playing Ben Chilwell left wing if you actually want to do something. You're stifling Levi Colwell's passes at centre back. I mean, at left back, sorry. I know that it says a 3 on here. It was a 4-2-3-1. Even Thiago Silva's responding to fans on Instagram and stuff. The guy, your brother, you're 45. You don't need to be responding to fans on Instagram if you're 45. Axel Disasi probably needs to get dropped. I heard he did have a bad game. But the problem is with this is that maybe Thiago Silva can't play in the back four. Or maybe he's playing in the back four, but he's playing Colwell next to him just to cover for him. Honestly, just try a game out with Thiago Silva and Colwell in the back four and Chilwell and Gusto as your fullbacks. You guys have signed all these players. You signed Mudryk, Madueke, Cole Palmer. You got Maatson back. They're all on the bench. They all came on. And Chilwell's your left winger. £1 billion. And Chilwell's your left winger. Conor Gallagher is still playing in a pivot. Enzo Fernandez is playing as a number 10. Raheem Sterling started well. Nicholas Jackson, question marks. And obviously, Malo Gusto coming in for Reece James. They said, it's not going to make a difference when Reece James is out because Malo Gusto is here. How is that working out for you? But listen, you lost to Nottingham Forest. It's a bit of a reminder of pretty much last season when you had Graham Potter and Frank Lampard of the disasters that would happen at Stamford Bridge. You know, the loss to Brentford, the loss to Villa, and the loss to Southampton. There was a few losses at Stamford Bridge last season, so you probably don't want to make sure that it's not that kind of season again. Bournemouth finally got their first point of the season after Brentford equalised right at 90th minute. It was 2-2 draw. Crystal Palace Wolves was a shit first half and then ended quite end to end. Wolves scored right at the end, but it wasn't enough to make it 3-3. Listen, Wolves are going to be down there as well. Palace, even though Matez and Edouard are fucking shit, and Ayu's fucking shit, they're going to be better than the other teams that are battling down there. They're not going to be relegated. They'll be in 13th again, probably, which is where Crystal Palace usually are. Then they won't be in a relegation battle. I think maybe they could have been dark horses for a relegation battle, but they won't be there. Brighton, Newcastle. Yeah, Newcastle, what's going on, man? I know you've lost 3 games in a row, but 2 of them were Liverpool and Man City. The manner of the Liverpool loss was dreadful. You think you'd come back with character, come back with a vengeance, with a fight, a reaction. That didn't happen. I watched the game, again, I had it recorded. Evan Ferguson scored a hat-trick, congratulations to him. And Robert De Zerbi went back to Van Heck instead of Adam Webster after his terrible performance against West Ham. Veltman instead of Milner. And João Pedro and Ferguson, which should be their front two, really. I don't think Danny Welbeck should be constantly starting anymore, even though he's a very good player. I don't think that Danny Welbeck wasn't on the bench, actually, so he probably was injured. They've got options off the bench, though. They've got a bit of pace off the bench as well, Brighton. And they've got their goal difference back. And they've gone back to winning. Newcastle, on the other hand, I think time is up for players like Dan Burn and Miguel Almiron. Almiron had a good purple patch last season, but he wasn't good since after Christmas. He scored against Leicester, and that was it. Hasn't done anything. He hasn't done anything since. He's here. He's actually a very fucking big hindrance to your right-hand side. The midfield wasn't as energetic as it should have been, like Tonali, Guimaraes and Joe Linton. It wasn't as energetic as it should have been at all. Dan Burn obviously filling in at centre-back for Botman, because I think Botman's injured, and Target at left-back. Like, if you're trying to go for, Champions League, your back four cannot include Dan Burn and Matt Target. Fabian Shaw had a good season last season. He can still play. Kieran Trippier, obviously, he can still play. But you guys have literally got the group of death in the Champions League. You've got PSG, AC Milan and Borussia Dortmund. You see if Kylian Mbappe is coming up against fucking Dan Burn or swapping on the right-hand side to come up against Dan Burn. It's a long day. It's a really, really long day. As good as Kieran Trippier is, if he's off the left, he's going to kill Kieran Trippier on the pitch. So even it got so bad that Jamal Lascelles has come on, and you cannot have Jamal Lascelles starting any game for you this season. Callum Wilson came on and scored. Isak probably will get dropped next game after international break, depending on fitness and stuff like that. Harvey Barnes still hasn't started a game. I don't know what's going on there. I think you should probably put Lewis Hall in, get Sven Botman back at centre back, put Lewis Hall at left back, and try that out, because Lewis Hall is a very, very good young talent, and I think he can bring a new dynamic to this Newcastle team. And Brighton with Evan Ferguson's a guy who's an emerging star, probably a bit overpriced and overrated by some people online. I really like him, but obviously all this whole 100 million thing. Can we let young players develop? If a man's doing well at Brighton, let them do well at Brighton sometimes. I think Evan Ferguson, this is like his first full season in first team football, because last season he was only still emerging in a Brighton senior team. But yeah, at Liverpool, Aston Villa, I think that's the only game I haven't talked about. And yeah, Liverpool battered Aston Villa. Like, as good as Aston Villa are, it's Anfield. It's Anfield. Like, you're not going to do well at Anfield. No one does well at Anfield. It was only Leeds got lucky last year with their win. They came clutch. They did well, but barely any team will win. I don't think Liverpool going to lose at Anfield this season. Like, everyone was like saying Anfield is a bit overhyped, but it's not. Maybe the atmosphere is overhyped because the atmosphere is not that good, but the actual stadium in itself, and when the crowd, when they need the crowd will be there. And they won 3-0. They were just too good. Lucas Digne had a shocker. Salah, again, you know what Salah's like. He's inevitable. But that is it for the West Ham Fans Premier League Roundup. I'm sorry that if I didn't talk about your team enough and you're watching this and you're not a West Ham fan, but this video is nearly half an hour. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. Social medias are in the description if you want to follow me, and the email for the inquiries. I'll see you guys later. Goodbye.